Hi, I'm Miranda.
And I'm April,
This is American Dreams, The Missing Future.
a podcast about missing children in America.
Today, we're going to be talking about Christopher Abeyta.
Okay.
All right, so today we are in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Not really. It'll be much warmer there, I'm assuming. You think it's warmer in Colorado right now?
No.
I'm so cold.
I don't know. El Nino, bro. El Nino. I don't know. Let's check it. Go ahead.
All right, so our story starts November 28th, 1985, with the birth of Christopher Abeyta to Gil and Bernice Abeyta. And I hope I'm saying the name right. If not, sorry. He was the youngest of 7 children, and there was a 14-year age gap between him and his closest sibling. Yeah, Bernice did not realize that she could get pregnant, so it was like, surprise, you're having another baby 14 years after you thought you were done.
Wait, why did she not think she could get pregnant? Because of her age?
I don't know. That's just what the internet says.
Mr. Google!
Me and Bernice are not friends. We're not swapping stories here.
Oh, really? I think they're like BFFs.
Oh, also, we should not have any jokes about Bernice because she has passed. So, R.I.P. Bernice. Sorry.
Well, that's par for the course, you know. We should have like an insensitivity score meter on here. I would be topping out every single time.
Anyways, back to the story.
Oh, wait. Colorado Springs right now is 34 degrees.
Oh.
And a high of 55 degrees today.
We are warmer. So
I'm at a whopping 50, so.
Which just be cold. Just be cold. So Gil and Bernice lived at 3311 Ashwood Circle in Cheyenne Hills, a Colorado Springs neighborhood, with 5 of their 7 children, including Christopher.
Wait. Yeah. 7 children?
Yeah, that's what I said.
And she didn't think she'd get pregnant?
I don't know. Maybe her last one, maybe she got her, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe she had got her tube tied or
which
something.
PSA, you can still get pregnant after you have your tubes tied. Just throwing that out there.
Just like a vasectomy, you can still get pregnant if you don't go do your checkups.
Yeah, PSA. So anyways, by all accounts, Christopher was a happy, smart, and funny baby. So in March of 1986, Bernice found lipstick on Gil's shirt and confronted him about a possible affair. So November 1985, Christopher is born. Mm-hmm. Flash forward to March of 1986, and Gil is having an illicit affair.
So he is having an affair.
He is having an affair.
Okay.
And they did decide to separate. So Gil moves to their second home in Pueblo, Colorado.
They have a second home?
I guess they do.
Does everybody in Colorado have a second home?
Who else had a second home?
Like a lot of people. They're like, oh, well, I have one here in the mountains and then I have one in town. Just the people I talk to in Colorado. That's just what I'm saying.
All your Colorado friends?
Yeah, all my Colorado clients, I guess.
I was about to say, because in the last episode you said you had a small circle, but if you have friends in Colorado, that's not very small.
Oh, no, they're not friends. They call me for work. Remember, customer service agent?
Anyways, Bernice confronts Gil about this illicit affair, and Gil's like, yep, it's happening. So then they decide to separate. But by July of 1986, they are on the path to reconciliation, and they're working on their marriage, probably because they have 7 kids.
That would be a lot of child support.
It is cheaper to keep her, as the Blues Brothers said.
Quote from the Blues Brothers. Yes.
So on July 14th, 1986, Gil is staying in the Colorado Springs home for the first time since the separation in March. And that evening, Christopher's sister Denise fed him a bottle, and when he fell asleep in her arm, she put him in his crib. The time that she put him in his crib is not specified in any of the articles that I read, because the timeline doesn't really start until later that night. So she puts him to bed in his crib that is in Bernice and Gil's very cluttered bedroom, 3 feet away from their bed.
Wait, why do you say cluttered?
Because I'm quoting an article. I can't use my little, it said air quotes. So cluttered.
Well, I mean, 7 children, 5 at home.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have the energy either. Seriously.
And the fact that the bedroom is cluttered is important to police theories later on. Mm-hmm. So the bedroom's cluttered. The crib is three feet. That's not very far. 3 feet away from Gil and Bernice's bed. At around 12:30 a.m. on July 15th, Bernice gave Christopher his last bottle of the night and put him back in his crib, 3 feet away from her bed. The front door was left unlocked so that one of the older Abeyta children could get back in later that night. And it's also the 80s. People just did that kind of stuff in the 80s. Leave your door unlocked.
No, dude. I know people who do it now, unfortunately, which is insane, but whatever.
At 6 a.m., Bernice woke up and discovered Christopher's empty crib. She searched all the upstairs bedrooms, thinking maybe one of his siblings had gotten him, I guess, but he was nowhere to be found. And then upon going downstairs, the front door was left ajar, so it was still kind of open. So after searching the house, Bernice called police at 6:30 a.m., and the police arrived at 6:45 a.m. to conduct their own house search. The police found a basement window open. They found the garage door opener missing. And there was also a purse that had been left out and was completely untouched. On top of all of this, there was no signs of forced entry.
Well, of course, the door was ajar and unlocked. How could there be? Huh?
The basement window was also open. So
why would they need to come through the basement?
I'm just telling you what the police found.
All right, police, go ahead.
Yes. The following afternoon, during a press conference, Bernice asked in a tearful plea for Christopher's abductor to return him. An extensive search was conducted of the area, and there was no leads, no clues, nothing found. And then 3 weeks later, Quail Lake, which is about 3 blocks away from the home, was also drained, but nothing was found.
They drained it?
Yeah. This at the time, Christopher was 7 months old.
Yeah.
7-month-old babies do not get out of their cribs and walk away.
Or climb out of a basement window.
So they were like really looking for him, and they really suspected foul play since the very beginning. As a matter of fact, they suspected the family of foul play since the
Ooh, okay. Getting spicy.
So police were suspicious of Gil and Bernice for several reasons. The first being Gil's illicit affair, followed by their separation. They also found it was suspicious that this was Gil's first night in the home.
Oh, I mean, that right there, kind of a red flag for me. Maybe not the illicit affair. I mean, that was like a year.
That's why Chris Watts killed his family. Just saying, it's not that.
Well, I think that that's another episode, and I think the degree is a little different with what's his face and this guy. I mean, Gil.
I don't know. I didn't even tell you how long Gil's affair was yet. You're just assuming.
I'm a good guesser on some certain things.
How long do you think the affair was?
That he had with the illicit woman?
Yeah.
I'd say years.
Okay, I don't know if it was years. I know that at least was happening when she got pregnant.
Yeah, years. I'm saying. I mean, because you have a 14-year-old daughter and she gets pregnant. He was messing around for years.
Maybe. Also, One red flag. Okay, so let me go through my initial list first. So the affair, the separation, Gil's first night in the home, Christopher goes missing. The crib is in their bedroom, which police described as cluttered, and you would have to really know where you're at to maneuver without making noise.
Apparently, that is a very nice way of saying it was packed full of crap.
Like, these people are disgusting. No, they said it was cluttered, and they found it suspicious that the bedroom was so cluttered, but nobody heard anything. And then another major red flag for police was that Gil had admitted to being unhappy and less than excited about Bernice's unexpected pregnancy when she got pregnant with Christopher. So, red flags all around for this family. Gil, however, passed his polygraph test. Bernice, on the other hand, failed 2.
Wait, what do you mean 2?
They gave her 2 polygraph tests, and she failed the first one, and the second one's inconclusive.
Oh, I'm terrible. I'm like, what do you mean she failed 2? He didn't fail.
Yeah, he failed none.
Maybe you should have said he passed and she failed 2 of them. That would have made more sense to me.
I feel like that is what I said.
No, she failed 2.
Okay, anyways. A little side note is polygraphs are pseudoscience.
Oh my God.
Okay. If you're ever asked to give a polygraph, say no. Because
hey, like, you can watch the movie Ocean's 11 and see how you pick one.
Take a Xanny. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Apparently you step on a tack.
It's a stress test. And I have generalized anxiety disorder. So I will fail a stress test regardless.
No. I told Mike the other night, I said, you know, somebody, of course, we're watching murder. Of course. I said, you know what? Somebody could give me a polygraph test right now about a murder I don't know anything about, and I would fail that.
Yes. It's the anxiety.
I'd be terrified. Yeah, I'd be terrified. I'm like, I didn't do anything. Why am I here?
And then they ask you a question and you're like, wait a minute. Like I want to be in the FBI. So I often think about the polygraph test. And what if they're like, have you ever stolen anything? And I'm like, there was this one time that I walked out of Walmart with a box of juices on the bottom of my cart and I didn't realize that I had stolen the juices. Do I say yes to that? What do I say? Because it wasn't intentional.
Well, if you think in your mind that you actually stole this box of juice, then you think. Because then you would be like, what do I say? Because you'd be like failing in your mind. Do I say yes? Because I didn't do it intentionally. Do I say no?
But it happened.
I don't know. What should I do? And fail right there.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
But if you have any doubt in your mind, you should say, yes, I have.
But then I'm a thief.
Okay, accidentally
listen,
taking something does not equate to thief.
Don't take a polygraph if you don't have to.
Long story short, just don't do it.
Especially if you have anxiety.
Especially if your name is Miranda.
That was her argument, is that the first polygraph was after an extensive police interview, and then the second polygraph, the second polygraph was after an extensive police interview. The first, she was so rattled and upset because her kid was missing. So,
you know, to be fair though, police in them interviews, especially if they suspect foul play, of course they're doing their job. Okay.
Pause. Police in the 80s.
The police in the 80s were assumedly doing their job, which they think was the best that they could do. Not every cop show was correct where they said they like punch people and threw them across the room. Okay.
Listen, I've read a lot of stuff from the 80s, like true crime related stuff. I'm just saying, cops in the 80s, that's a different breed right there.
Well, you know, cops now are kind of a different breed. I mean, they basically, it's like psychological. Totally psychological. Not that I've ever been interrogated by the police. Ever.
Speaking from personal experience.
No, I mean, I think I talked to a police officer one time because the place that I was working got robbed.
Let me just set the scene for my anxiety. I be not speeding, no drugs in my car, not breaking the law. And a police officer turns out behind me, and I'm like, oh my God.
He's coming for me. It's so
So
what did I
ridiculous.
do? I gotta slow down. I gotta throw the non-existent drugs out the car.
Anyway, okay, back on topic because we've gotten off too long now. So, police looked into several possibilities, including child selling schemes, stranger abductions, child predators, and revenge crime theories. However, they did
Like
not discover.
the woman, the illicit woman, like revenge.
Yes.
That would be ballsy. Coming in the house. Well, the door was unlocked. She'd come in the house, sneak
The
into
window
the
was open. What do you mean?
cluttered room, and take. I mean, that's pushing it, though. I mean,
Well, we'll come back. We'll circle back to her in a minute.
circle in.
We're going to circle back. So they said that they couldn't find any evidence that supported any of those theories. And they like hardcore think the family did it this whole time. And the family's like, look, he was abducted. You're not taking it seriously. And now we're never going to find him because you were too busy accusing us because of my failed polygraphs that he's gone now. Right. So Gil ends up quitting his job to focus on finding Christopher. And 2 of Christopher's sisters actually dropped out of school. I don't know what grade. It doesn't say. It just says that they dropped out of school to assist in the search. And the family created a hotline for tips and things. And they also created an organization called Families of Missing Children, Inc. I didn't look any of this up. But that's what they did. They also like sold their houses, cashed out their retirement funds, offered $100,000 for any tips or clues. Like they were really involved in finding him. They traveled across the country to Mexico, to places where he had been sighted. They hired investigators.
What?
This is all things they did.
What?
What are you confused on?
Just the whole thing, actually. I mean, do they not know about a leave of absence?
I mean, guess not. I'm sorry.
I mean, if somebody kidnapped my child, yeah, I would go to the ends of the earth. Yes. But letting your children drop out of school?
2 of his sisters.
Well, I mean, no, I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm saying a little thing bad about it because these depends on the school, I guess.
It gets better.
Ooh.
It says that they also wore disguises and trailed potential suspects.
What were they doing? Like playing spy or something?
Yeah. Their life turned into an international spy movie.
Or private investigation? Seriously, what is going on here?
Well, and they look like they're trying to find their kid. I don't know.
But do you have to wear disguises to find your child?
They were trailing suspects. You can't go as yourself.
Okay, please continue. Please.
Okay. So they believe that he was either raised by a family that didn't know he was kidnapped or was raised by someone who had lost a child and just needed a replacement child. And they have some interesting theories.
Okay, can I give a theory?
Yeah.
This is what I think. I think old daddy boy came back to the house and maybe she fed him at that other date and time, whatever that was, like 3, did you say?
12:30.
12:30. Oh, okay, that's midnight. So it was cluttered. So I'm thinking maybe somebody, this is terrible, but maybe unalived the child and then hid him somewhere in this clutter. I don't know, but I don't think it was somebody outside of the house. I don't think it was the children. I think it was one of the parents.
Okay. Well, let me run down some of the parents' theories because they're very adamant they didn't do it.
Oh, but okay, please do.
So the first thing is that Bernice would look through the obituaries to try and find any evidence. And she found that the person who had signed Christopher's birth certificate at the hospital, like the hospital staff, had recently lost a child lost her own baby and quit her job at the hospital the day before Christopher disappeared. So that woman did end up going to Australia. Bernice reached out to Australian authorities and they looked into it, but nothing ever came of it. So
Because the woman didn't steal that child.
I mean,
it's 7 months since Christopher was even born. So there's probably hundreds of babies that have come through there.
yeah, and if she worked at the hospital and gets on birth certificates, why not just, it's the 80s. They didn't have security bracelets. Just snatch a baby out of the nursery. Like,
Mix them up, whatever.
you don't have to break into somebody's house to steal their baby. You could just go to the hospital.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I like this babe. So I'm just going to take this babe. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Their other theory is Emma Bradshaw, who is the woman that Gil was having the illicit affair with. She had a history of break-ins.
So he had a thing for bad girls.
So she had a history of break-ins and stalking former married men. So affairs were her game. Okay, no offense, Emma. She liked the married men, and she stalked them at their home. Accounts say that she was also calling Gil, trying to speak to him that very night that Christopher disappeared.
Oh, it was the dad.
Up until midnight. He was receiving calls from her up until midnight. And they also had received 6 months prior to Christopher's disappearance, the family had received like hang up phone calls. So 6 months
He would have been a month old.
Yeah, so the affair hadn't been discovered yet. So they were receiving hang up phone calls, and those apparently the calls also stopped the day before Christopher disappeared. So it happened for the 6 months up until he disappeared. And then started several months later after his disappearance. And authorities did trace these hang-up phone calls back to Emma. So there is that. Phone records also indicated that the grandparents were stalked the month prior to his disappearance. Now, it doesn't say that that was traced back to Emma, but that's where it says that she does have a history of stalking and harassing married men.
Okay.
Who had tried to end their relationship with her. It also says that at some point she entered the family home and took family photos off the wall and sat outside. She also sat outside his children's school and threatened them.
That's just stalker mentality.
In the 70s and 80s, she was in a mental institution. It's not funny. I'm sorry.
I mean, no, it's not funny that she's in a mental institution. It's not funny that she stalks people either, because stalking is terrible. As somebody who's been accused of stalking somebody, which I did not, because nobody would want to stalk that person.
Deceased. So Emma pleads her innocence. She says, I did not steal that baby. And the police never named her as a suspect. So,
but I mean, does she have any children of her own? Does it state that?
It doesn't say anywhere.
I mean, not. Okay, here's a surprising fact: not every woman wants a child.
What?
Yeah, shocker. I know, but not every woman wants a child.
So
it sounds like Emma, bless her soul, wanted something completely different, and it was not a child.
Yeah, she wanted Bernice's husband. So anyways, Emma claims she's innocent. Police never suspected her, never put her on the list.
Because she was not, I mean, she was throwing red flags of stalking, but not of child abduction or murder.
I mean, who hasn't drove past their ex-boyfriend's house?
I don't know. Really don't know.
Who hasn't drove past their ex-boyfriend's house and been like, wonder what he's up to? Just so happens that he
had a,
and
you know,
so
yeah, it just, no, you know what's totally awkward though, is when your ex comes into your place of work and is like, do you remember me? Like, yeah. And nobody cares. Nobody cares about you, person.
That doesn't happen to me. And if it does, it's really
nuh-uh, you were so stalked.
My ex is getting beat up. I mean, they don't come into my job.
Well, you never know. They may.
They may, and then it'll be a completely different conversation because it'll be very sad for them.
Which I don't think it would happen where you're located, because I don't think any of your exes live there.
No, but at my last job, they could have came in. And I was stalked by 2 people. I had a protective order against one. It was not fun times.
No.
It wasn't a vibe.
No. And just you see that person, or I just remember you seeing that person, you're like,
oh, that person did threaten to blow my brains out.
Love. Love.
Now people tell me that all the time, and I'm like, get in line. There's a line of shotgun wielding crazy people who want to blow my brains out.
I would have to say nobody's ever threatened to kill me. I mean, people have threatened to kill me, but not in my relationship, but like out in everyday world. Sure, they threaten to kill me or hurt me in some terrible way. But
it's part of the course.
Yeah. I mean, the area, I was not surprised. Seriously.
So anyways.
Yeah, bring it back. Bring it back. We got off topic again.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
So the police never suspected Emma. The police cleared the nurse or the hospital staff.
I wonder why.
The only consistent suspects are Bernice and Gil.
What?
And I'm torn because their actions after his disappearance seem a little outrageous.
A little?
But also, people react to grief differently.
Okay, they don't go on a 3-5 year, whatever year amount of time espionage.
Oh, they were doing this until they died.
They died?
Both of them are deceased, yes. We'll get to that. So
maybe we'll get to that.
The at some point following Christopher's disappearance, Colorado Springs Police Department destroyed most of the evidence in his case.
Why?
They did that sometimes. Like if a case was cold for too long, they needed more storage space. I don't know. I don't think they do that stuff.
Oh, guess it's before computers.
Yeah. His family has accused them of negligence and incompetence within the investigation, which I don't know. Seems a little rude. So the suspects were Gil and Bernice. That's it. That's all I have. Like,
well, how did they die?
So,
how did they figure out that it was the parents?
They didn't. The case is open. I'll show you.
It's still open? Okay, so how did Gil and Bernice die?
I'm trying to find that because right now it's just weird stuff. Oh, in 2013, Emma filed a lawsuit against Christopher's family saying the emails to her boss and Facebook posts from Denise defamed her and interfered with her employment. So it turns out they then became obsessed with Emma.
Oh, so she got stalked.
Yeah.
What a twist of fate.
And in November of 2015, the jury sided with her and awarded her $150,000.
That's a lot of money in the 80s.
In 2017, authorities named an unidentified person as a person of interest in the case. However, the name has never been released. People do believe that person is Emma.
Well, nobody will know because all the information is gone from the case.
So true. Bernice was diagnosed with terminal gallbladder cancer in May of 2016. And in October...
Did you get cancer in your gallbladder?
Yep.
I guess you get cancer anywhere, honestly.
February 12th of 2018, she passed away at the age of 73. 73.
Well, I guess that would. How old was she when she had Christopher?
I don't know. She must have been older.
So what happened to Mr. Gill?
I'm just going through a list of updates right now. In October 2018, a Florida man named Chris came forward, and he was told he was born in Colorado just a few months after Christopher. He did not have a birth certificate or any pictures of himself as a baby. And his toddler pictures looked similar to Christopher. He believed he was Christopher. A social worker actually tipped him. The social worker who worked his case actually tipped him off to Christopher's case. And let's see if Colorado Springs Police Department did not seem to take the lead seriously at first until social workers reached out to them.
Okay, that could be just a coincidence.
DNA was collected from him in February of 2019. It was announced that he was not a match.
What?
DNA was also collected from 2 other men who believed they were Christopher. They were not matches either. Gil passed away in 2020 of a heart attack. And Christopher's siblings are still searching for him. I don't know how old Gil was when he died. I'm assuming since in 2019, Bernice was in her 70s, that in 2020, Gil was in his 70s or 80s.
So we don't know if Christopher is actually deceased.
Nope. He's still classified as a missing person. And they do have age progression photos made of him that I'll put in.
Well, I mean, with the 23andMe and Ancestry.com DNA, I mean, it could eventually be found. But I'm not sure that's going to happen.
If every missing person case we do ends with you saying that the parents killed them.
No, not every one of them, but just the facts here, okay?
Oh, yeah, last week you didn't think the parents killed her. That's right, sorry. Just the little boys.
No, it is just too weird, okay?
No, I agree.
I mean, they're in the same bedroom. It's 3 feet away from the bed. They didn't hear anybody trip over the clutter in their room. The father had an illicit affair, left the mother, but came back the day of or the day before. The child went missing. So, to me, I think the father did it, honestly.
And then in 2017, his girlfriend becomes a possible suspect. We don't know if that's true. Sorry, Emma. Unless you did it, then I'm not sorry. What?
You're only a little sus now. It's not, we're not blaming you, but you're a little sus. But
there's a lot of red flags in this case for both the parents and Emma. Like, girl.
But, if you sit there and think about it logically with all those things, I mean, because they're saying that it's, okay, I know people who have clutter, okay? And then I know people who have clutter. And it sounds like they had the higher clutter content in that room. So you have to know the path of a cluttered space that you maneuver through with that so you don't knock everything over.
Well, it did say that Emma had been in the house before.
In their bedroom?
It said that she'd been in the house before. But their affair took place while he still lived in that house. Who's to say he didn't bring her home and sleep with her in his marriage bed?
Wow. Talking about setting the mood. Marriage bed surrounded by clutter. Sounds romantic.
I'm just going to say it. Emma's a little messy. Like, as a person, she's a little messy. So.
You said it.
Maybe the messy life wasn't deterred by the messy room. Okay? That's what I'm saying.
Well, okay. Well, let's just say this. This is not a sponsored podcast by any means. But maybe people should just, do more of the 23andMe and the Ancestry. And who knows? He might be coming out of the ether.
I'm seeing this episode of 23andMe. Maybe they will sponsor us.
I think they would turn you down.
Well.
Yeah. I mean, but, if more people want to watch and follow and like and subscribe and blah, maybe.
I'm leaving that in. Personally, I think it might have been Gil.
I already said that. You can't steal my assumption.
I did all the research. I had these assumptions first.
I think maybe if Emma did have anything to do with it, she was in it with Gil. Like he would have maybe done the deed and handed the child to her, or she had a hand in it. How about that? We won't go into assumptions.
Yes, everyone's innocent until proven guilty.
So they say. Unless you can't prove them innocent.
Well, that's our criminal justice system.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody should get a Ring camera. Again, not sponsored. And just to have proof that you're not out killing people. A time step on a camera.
Oh my gosh. That's all the time we have today. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.